So I know you've been getting a lot of opinions and information from doctors and whatnot. What did you learn, and how did you come to decide on the surgery?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, surgery is, it should always be the last, scenario. And talking to the doctors, and we were kind of all in agreement. Look, I want to pitch for another 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And learning from the doctors, we think, the best route for me is to go ahead and get surgery and go and fix it and be ready to go next year.
And what is the surgery exactly?
So, yeah, tore my lat, off the bone. And from what I've learned is, they're going to go and reattach it, put some anchors in and let just basically attach that tendon back to the bone and let it heal. So it's going to be about 10 to 12-month rehab process. And, hopefully the goal is to come in and have a somewhat of a normal spring training, hopefully, and at the start of the season, depending on how I feel, go on a rehab assignment and see how long it takes me to get back here.
So you'll be in probably a similar spot next year as you were coming into this year, where spring training's slow, opening day is questionable, maybe miss some time.
Yeah, I think probably since it's an arm injury, it's probably going to be a little bit more cautious in spring training, probably be a little bit more of a slower process, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How surprising was that, given kind of what you were feeling and just that what occurred there?
Super frustrating, obviously, because I was starting to feel so good, and I wish I knew what caused it. Just me personally, if I had to guess, I think I was feeling so good, and I gained so much more range of motion in my hips, and I was allowing me to get a little bit more extension down the mound, maybe put more stress on my arm. I don't know, but I think too my velocity was increasing at a pretty rapid rate. That maybe that had something to do with it. It's just there's so many scenarios. I wish it wouldn't have happened, but and the frustrating part is, yes, I was feeling so good and excited to help this team because it is a special team this year. But my thought process now is to come back, get my body in the best shape possible, and help this team next year.
Hey, did you get a sense from the doctor how rare this severe an injury is?
I think it's a lot of guys are starting to have, it's not becoming more common, I guess. A lot of people are having a lot more lat strains. I don't know. Yeah, there's, from my knowledge, very few surgeries in this, scenario. But yeah, there isn't too much, data to go off of because it isn't very common.
So how long are you going without any kind of activity with your arm at all?
That's a trainer question, a PT question. If I think someone said, start playing catch around six months. So that would put me at around October, and kind of have a somewhat normal-ish off season. Just a lot of throwing in the off season and getting back ready to go in spring training.
Before the hip, had you ever had any surgery?
I had Tommy John. I had thoracic outlet in college. Both of them were in college, and then the hip. And that was it.
And what's it like to have to have your season end with surgery 2 years in a row after you'd been so healthy for so long?
Yeah, it's this game will try to beat you down, and luckily. I went through the rehab process, already, and that's the toughest thing is, I worked so hard this offseason to come back and, help this team, but, got to go into it in the same mindset is to come back and attack the offseason, and, it's an exciting time to, be in this organization. I want to take a full advantage of it and help this team next year.